Do, 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 do. Let's see if this stays on. Hi, I'm Kate and welcome to my channel. So, wedding season is upon us, so what better time to do a video about wedding palettes than now? So, thought I would don my veil, don a soft wedding look today, and talk about the palettes that I have that I think would be great for a bride or the bridal party, but great palettes for a wedding. So keep in mind, these are only my opinions. If you want to go bright and bold for your wedding, go for it. I think that's super fun. For me, I more prefer just like a really soft, glamorous look for a wedding. I don't want it to take away from my beautiful dress, everything else going on. That's kind of the vibe that I'm going to be looking for as I talk about the palettes that I picked today. So first up, I have a classic, and it is the ABH Soft Glam palette. You really can't go wrong with this one for a wedding. You will get a more warmer, neutral look with it, but you can also go a little rose, kind of pinky rose mauve with it as well. You can go very soft, you can go really bold, smoke it out, there's a black in here. You really can't go wrong with this one. This is a great wedding palette. A palette that has basically any neutral you would need for a wedding is from Colourpop, and this is the Bare Necessities palette. It's big. It's a big neutral palette, but it has a really good range from really light to really deep. You have some more mauve tones, some kind of cooler tones, some true neutral. It's just a really good variety. It can work on a lot of different skin tones, but you can get pretty much any neutral look you're going for with this palette. I picked two others from Colourpop, so I'll do those now. If you're more into a cooler neutral, I think the That's Taupe palette is a great option. Now this palette is really, really beautiful. It can go pretty deep with this dark brown, some kind of more cooler neutral. This Super Shock shadow is really pretty. I don't know how well it'll swatch here, but I don't really like super shimmery looks for a bride just because the photographs, like you can pick up little specks of glitter and it can not look the greatest, but I really think the shimmers in this palette would be beautiful on a bride. I don't know if that'll stay on, but the other one from Colourpop that I picked is the Making Mauves palette. So if you like more of a mauvey pink vibe, I think this is a beautiful choice. There is one shade missing. It's in a Z palette for one of my dupe palettes right now, but these are some of my favorite shimmers from Colourpop, and I love these tones. These are just beautiful. A brand that you don't really hear much about anymore is LORAC. So I grabbed the LORAC. This is the third Pro, so volume 3, and I think this is just beautiful and bridal. You have really soft neutrals, you have some kind of pinky tones, but this is just a beautiful palette. These perform really, really well. I have a couple of these LORAC palettes, but this one is just go-to for a bride. Alright, I picked two palettes from Huda Beauty that I think would be great for a wedding. This next one I actually used on a friend for her wedding just last fall, and it is the new Nude palette. Now, my friend who I used this for was wearing like kind of a blushy pink skirt with her white top for her wedding, so we went for kind of a rose gold eye, and this was just the perfect palette to do it. These shimmers, I mean, they're very much like toppers, but oh, they're so pretty. So pretty. I'll swatch them here. But again, like not too shimmery that can like really take away, but this is just a beautiful palette for brides, bridesmaids. It is very pink leaning. A lot of Huda's products, even when they're neutral, are very pink leaning, so keep that in mind, but it's a great palette. The other one from Huda that I grabbed is the Nude Light. Now I picked this one just because on my skin tone this one works best. I have the medium as well and it's beautiful, but for a wedding, again, you have some of those kind of pinky mauve tones, some true neutrals, and just really pretty shimmers. So something a little more compact, but beautiful for a wedding. Oh, where'd it go? Okay, I think we're gonna be done. All right, an all matte palette that I still really love. I've had it for a while, but it's the Tartlet. So this is the original Tartlet that is all matte, but it is beautiful. These shadows blend so effortlessly, and you can go with an all matte look. You can get quite a bit of dimension. You can also layer shimmer on it from something else if you want to, but this is a beautiful palette. All right, this next palette is one that I have talked about in multiple videos because it's just an unexpected favorite and it still continues to be, and this is the Too Faced Sparkling Pineapple palette. Now it smells like pineapple. I think I put this in my favorite like neutral but not boring palettes, nice neutral palettes for summer, but it's just a great palette. You have this really pretty champagne shimmer that's really nice, not too shimmery. You have some really beautiful neutral tones, and these just blend really nice. They're really easy to use. It's kind of a fuss-free palette. Not a lot of looks that you can necessarily get with it if you're going for like a neutral bridal look, but it's just really easy to use, easy to kind of follow your neutrals, add a shimmer, and it's nice and simple. All right, another neutral palette that has actually quite a bit of variety is the Tati Beauty Volume 1 palette. Now this one has those glitters if that's something that you really want. If I'm gonna use glitters, it's from these, and then I'll mention some in the next palette too. I don't do a lot of glitter. I don't necessarily recommend them for when you're being photographed at different angles, but the neutrals in here are beautiful. The shimmers are very soft. They're not super impactful shimmers, so if you're someone that doesn't want something super shimmery, they're really nice. I don't reach for them often because I'm typically looking for something with a little more sparkle, but it's a beautiful palette. And speaking of glitters that I actually don't mind, this is the ABH Norvina Volume 4. I picked this one. I actually used this on my wedding day last summer using some of these neutrals and then these shimmers here, and I really enjoyed how my look came out. There are glitters in here, and they're not bad glitters, but you can go a little more like berry, mauve-y. There's some really nice shimmers in here. I think this is a really fun one for a wedding. All right, I have two luxury palettes to talk about, and then I will get to what I'm wearing on my eyes today. The palette that I picked from Natasha Denona that I think would be great for a wedding, I actually wore this one as a bridesmaid in my friend's wedding who I did her bridal makeup for. But this is the Natasha Denona Biba palette. So, okay. So this is just a beautiful neutral palette. You have warm neutrals, true neutrals, some cool neutrals. It's just really nice. I mean, it's easy to use. Her shadows blend beautifully, effortlessly. You can go a surprising amount of directions with this for it being a neutral palette, but there's something about using luxury on your wedding day that's, I don't know, just kind of fun. And then you know I had to include a pat palette in here, so I have the original Divine Rose. Let's just unwrap her. All right, this is probably my most used pat palette, and here she is. If you want something really soft and mauve-y, it is just perfect. You do have some true neutrals in there as well, but then you have some really beautiful special shades. This one right here is one of my favorite, most shimmery shades ever. I don't know how well you can pick that up. A few of the other special shades as well. I'll go ahead and swatch those as well. These are just really pretty and soft shadows. Yeah, definitely my most used out of all my pat palettes and would be beautiful for a bride, bridesmaids, all of the above. And then for what I'm wearing today, now if I were to be getting married now that I've been doing makeup a lot longer, this is the palette that I would use if I were getting married now. And this is the Nabla Side by Side palette. So this is what I have on my eyes today. I just went really soft neutral, a little smoky. This is definitely where it's at for me for neutrals. I have everything that I need. I have, you know, a really light shade to buff things out. I have some nice transition shades, some cooler tones, some warmer tones. This is just a beautiful palette and definitely something I'll bring with as I'm doing makeup for other brides in the future. Yeah, this is definitely my new go-to for weddings. So those are all the palettes in my collection that I think would be great for a bride looking for just a more soft, neutral look for her wedding day, or bridesmaids, mother of the bride, all of the above. So thank you so much for watching my video on all of my favorite bridal palettes. If you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, leave a comment below. Did I miss one of your favorites? Or did you use any of these on your wedding day? I would love to hear. And I'll see you soon.